today I am really excited because this is one of my personal favorite recipes in all of my cookbooks, and I know it's one of yours too. We are making the black pepper chicken from my beloved first book, The Defined Dish. This is a great one for two reasons. Number one, it utilizes things that you probably already have in your refrigerator and your pantry. And number two, it is a remake from Panda Express, which I'm pretty sure we all grew up loving the delicious stir fries at Panda Express. And this is an at-home version that's Whole30 compatible, and I think it's more delicious. So let's make it. We're gonna start off by making the sauce. I love this. It's a peppery, delicious sauce that is gonna coat the chicken and the celery in this dish. It's gonna start off with some broth, just a quarter of a cup of that. Then we have a quarter cup of coconut aminos, tablespoon rice vinegar, and a teaspoon fish sauce. So you'll notice in a lot of my recipes, I use a combination of coconut aminos and fish sauce. This is basically my Whole30 dupe for soy sauce. Since soy sauce is not allowed on the Whole30 program, the combination of these two really do the trick. Coconut aminos are a little bit sweeter than a traditional soy sauce, so the addition of fish sauce gives it that umami, salty flavor that you want when making an Asian-inspired stir fry. What makes the Panda Express stir fry so good is that it's super heavy on the black pepper. So you need freshly ground black pepper. It's just not gonna taste the same. When it's been sitting in the container already cracked, it loses its luster. So when it's freshly cracked, you're gonna get that bigger flavor of black pepper that you want. And we're gonna want like a teaspoon here. Obviously it's hard to measure when you're freshly grounding it, so just keep grinding. When you think you're done, keep going. And then you'll have enough black pepper. All right, I think that's enough. My wrist is starting to hurt, so I think we have enough pepper. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is a little bit of ground ginger. A little dash in there. All right, so our sauce is ready to rock. I always like to do this beforehand so that when you're making your stir fry and it's coming together really quickly, it makes it easier. Okay, next up we're gonna get our chicken going. I'm just gonna cover this, tenderize the chicken a bit, and then also get it to where it's gonna be like a uniform bite-sized piece. Okay, all right, now we're going to cut our chicken into little bite-sized pieces for our stir fry. About 1 inch cubes is what you're gonna want. Trim off any excess fat as you're working through it. Hey, wash my hands. All right, to the chicken, we're just gonna do like 2 teaspoons of avocado oil to give a little moisture, a teaspoon of salt. Just when you think you were done grinding black pepper, you keep going. We're gonna add a little bit of pepper to the chicken as well. Really hammering home the message of black pepper chicken. And then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of arrowroot starch. This is going to help it brown, but more importantly, it's gonna help thicken up the sauce as we cook it down at the very end. We're gonna mix this up until it's well combined. And all of the pieces of chicken are well coated in that arrowroot starch and the salt and the pepper. We're gonna get a nonstick skillet, very important that you use nonstick here, or else it's gonna get difficult with the arrowroot. So we're gonna put plenty of avocado on the bottom so that we can kind of shallow fry up our chicken bits. So 3 tablespoons, more or less, in there. And then we're gonna cook our chicken until it's golden brown on each side and just cook through. We're probably gonna have to do this in batches. I have a pretty large nonstick skillet, so it should take me about 2 batches, but depending on the size of your skillet. You just don't wanna overcrowd, because what you're gonna wanna do here is get a nice golden brown on all sides of your chicken. You don't wanna steam it. If you put everything in there at once, your chicken's gonna steam and it's gonna be more rubbery, and it's gonna lend to a less delicious stir fry. So you can see this is round 1, round 2 to come. This is about as crowded as I want you to get it. I know it's hard because you want to speed the process up, but this is essential in making a beautiful, delicious chicken stir fry. So as we're cooking this, it's gonna take like 3 minutes per side, more or less. So keep an eye on it. If you are a more beginner cook, go ahead and chop all your veggies beforehand. I cook a lot, if you can't tell, so I can cook and chop as I go. But my recommendation, if you're newer in the kitchen, is to have everything measured out, ready to rock for an easy breezy, beautiful chicken dish. 4 stalks of celery. I'm gonna clean these out because they've got lots of dirt in there. As I splash your camera, I'm sorry. All right, you can see here, my chicken's getting nice and golden. I'm gonna flip them, keep cooking until they're cooked through and all golden brown. All right, so with the celery, we're gonna cut on the diagonal, which is like so, into like 1-inch chunks. You want big pieces of celery. This just gives it a little bit more dimension. You're not just like cutting a piece of celery like this. It's just not as cute, as you can tell. So these big diagonal pieces are gonna kind of mimic the same size of the chicken. It's gonna go better with the chicken, and it's just gonna look more gourmet. We're gonna get some onion in there as well. I've got half of an onion, thinly sliced. Slice up our onion. My brown chicken's gonna go to the side. We're gonna do that second batch. We're gonna finish this all off. I know a lot of y'all don't like that we cook in batches. Do it in one batch. You'll see why I told you to do it in 2. It's way better this way. Here's the other thing about this recipe that we need to discuss, is celery. I feel like there's like some common aversions in the kitchen. It's anchovies, canned tuna, and celery. 3 things that I personally adore. And celery is one of those things that we always have on hand. We add them to soups. We kind of give it a little touch in recipes here and there, but they're never the star of the show. And quite frankly, I think they should be. They are so good stir-fried, and you have to make this recipe if you're someone who doesn't like celery, and then tell me you still don't like it after you make this, because I won't believe you. The only other thing that I'm prepping before my chicken's ready is some garlic. So I'm just gonna take the garlic, kind of mash it, but then just really thinly slice it. I want big garlic flavor in this dish, and really thinly slicing it is gonna do that for me. All right, you can see on this side it's brown. I haven't flipped it yet. You can tell that it's almost white all the way through. There's just a slight raw piece at the very top. That's usually when I know my chicken is ready to flip. The last of our chicken over here. We're gonna add in our vegetables. We've got our celery, our onion, and our garlic. We're just gonna stir fry that until they're kind of crisp tender is what I like to call it. You want them to soften, but you still want that crunch to your veggies. So just like 3 to 4 minutes. Now that my veggies are starting to get tender, but they still have that crisp to them, I'm gonna add my chicken, any of its juices, back into the skillet. And then we're gonna pour in our beautiful black pepper sauce. And then we're just gonna cook this, tossing occasionally. The arrowroot on that chicken is going to help thicken that sauce, and it's gonna kind of reduce a bit. So this is gonna take probably another 3 to 4 minutes. And you want that chicken really coated. You want that sauce a little bit thicker, and then our stir fry will be ready. This is a Whole30 compatible recipe, as is. You could serve it over cauliflower rice, you could serve it by itself. I'm gonna serve it with steamed rice today, which is not compatible with the program just because I'm not currently doing a Whole30. I just love the stir fry. You can see that sauce is already starting to thicken. I think she's ready. All right, you can see the sauce is really well coated around that chicken. You can see that black pepper flakes in there. And their sauce is definitely thick. You can see when I scrape it with a spoon, like so. It's really reduced and thickened. I'm gonna remove that from the heat. It's just gonna continue to kind of coat and gloss over that chicken. I've got a bag of microwave rice in true mom form. You do you. Put a little bed of rice over here. All right, and then because we haven't had enough black pepper, I'm gonna put a little bit more on top just so you can really see those flakes of black pepper. Obviously for my kids, I wouldn't do this last component, but they really do love this dish. The black pepper comes through, but it's not necessarily spicy. And this one's a gem. I mean, it's a favorite for a reason. It's one of my favorites for a reason. It's just good, easy. You probably already have the ingredients in your fridge and healthy too. All right, gotta get a piece of chicken and the celery for the full effect. This is really one of my tried and true favorites. The crunchy celery, the black pepper, the umami sauce, and the tender bites of chicken. This one doesn't get any better. It's a tried and true for a reason. You can find this recipe and many more great, healthy weeknight dinners in my first book, The Defined Dish. Plus, you can find a ton of recipes like this on my blog, thedefineddish.com.